Did you know that a quantity of Nutella is produced each year that is enough to cover the entire surface of the Earth? 1.8 times, to be precise. But how is Nutella actually made? And why wasn't it originally intended to be a spread on bread?
Today, we take a look behind the scenes and answer the question, what makes this spread so irresistible?
Welcome to a look inside the factory. Today, we travel from the hazelnut fields in Turkey through the cacao farms in West Africa to the giant production halls to discover how Nutella is made and what secrets each jar holds.
And how Ferrero succeeds in producing one of the world's most popular products.
We are now in 1946. The world has just begun to recover from the horrors of World War II.
Everything is scarce, especially cacao, the basic raw material for chocolate production.
For chocolate lovers, it was a nightmare. But this is exactly where the story of Nutella begins, with a brilliant idea born out of necessity. A visionary confectioner from the small town of Alba in the Piedmont region of Italy. He looks at the cacao stalk and finds nothing, but hazelnuts, there's an abundance of them. The best hazelnuts in the world grow in Piedmont. So the founder takes hazelnuts and mixes them with sugar and a little cacao. No, not Nutella yet. The first product was called pasta giandujot. It was simply a thick, sweet paste that could be sliced and put on bread. It was the great-grandfather of the Nutella sandwich.
But the individual was not satisfied. He wanted more than that. Something not just delicious, but also practical.
In 1951, he launched the next version, Super Crema. And now, it was finally spreadable and creamier. Then, in 1964, his son came into the picture. He had great ambitions. He took the recipe, improved it, and gave it a name everyone knows today, a beloved spread. This name is a blend of the word nut, which is hazelnut, and the other word ella, which is used in Italian to soften a word, giving the name a gentle and easy character. And the first jar of Nutella was sold on April 20, 1964.
But where? Of course, in Italy. The country that loves chocolate almost as much as it loves pasta.
But the ambitious leader didn't just want to conquer Italy. His vision was broader. He wanted the whole world to love the sweet spread. And he achieved that. Within a few years, Nutella was selling massively across Europe. And today, you can buy a jar of Nutella in over 160 countries. And did you know that Nutella tastes slightly different from country to country? In Germany, for example, it's harder and less sweet, while in Italy, it's creamier and more chocolatey. Why? Because the ambitious leader knew exactly how much people's tastes differ from country to country. Well, now that we know how Nutella originated, it's time to move to the present. It's time to take a look behind the scenes of modern production.
How does Ferrero manage to package millions of jars of this irresistible cream, always with the same quality?
The journey begins in the tropical cacao farms.
Imagine you are standing in a tropical rainforest. The air is warm and humid. Around you, strange birds sing. And everywhere, those mysterious, full fruits grow, cacao pods. And now comes the exciting question. How does an unattractive... The cacao tree is the hero of our adventure. It's not an ordinary tree. No, this tree has special requirements. It needs 3 to 5 years before it starts producing fruit. But when it starts, it does so impressively. Its fruits, those large, ribbed capsules, look like they were stolen from a rainbow itself.
Green, yellow, orange, red. All colors are present.
And in every capsule, there's a hidden treasure. 30 to 50 cacao beans embedded in a sweet white pulp. But there's a problem. These capsules don't fall from the tree naturally. They must be harvested manually. Farmers, armed with machetes, roam the farms, often under heat exceeding 30 degrees in the shade. Every strike must be precise, because if the fruit is picked too early, the beans will taste bad later. One farmer can pick up to 1,500 capsules in a day.
Green, yellow, orange, red. All colors are present.
And after extraction, the real work begins: fermentation. Here, the beans release their bitterness.
While the flavors slowly develop, the fermentation process takes 6 days, and by the end, the beans no longer smell only of fruit, but begin to release a chocolate aroma. But so that the beans don't collapse, they get a small break. Under the sun, just as we need sun after a long vacation, the beans are spread on large mats and dried for several days,
where they are cared for until they are perfect. Now, the beans are ready to begin their journey.
They are put into burlap sacks and set off on their way to the factories, where they will eventually transform into the Nutella we love. The first step in the factory is thorough cleaning. Small stones, dust, twigs are immediately removed. No one wants unpleasant surprises in their chocolate. And after this refreshment, it's time for heat. The beans are heated in huge cylinders to break their hard shells. What remains is something called cacao nibs, which is the pure heart of the bean. Here lies all the flavor, and the precious butter that gives Nutella its silky texture.
And now we reach the decisive moment that determines the quality of the final chocolate: roasting, at temperatures between 100 and...
The cacao nibs release their full flavor. After roasting comes the grinding stage.
The cacao nibs are ground until they turn into a thick, warm mass, full of flavor, which is the base for Nutella. Now we move to Turkey. Did you know that Turkey is the largest hazelnut-producing country in the world? The hazelnuts used in Nutella come specifically from there. And we're not talking about a few kilograms here. Ferrero processes a quantity of hazelnuts each year sufficient to cover many football fields.
The harvesting process is a mix of modern technology and old traditional craftsmanship.
Machines help separate the nuts from branches and leaves, and huge air presses simply blow away the excess particles. In the factory, the hazelnuts are roasted, peeled, and then turned into a paste. And here, Ferrero's extreme precision is evident. Every single hazelnut is checked for quality. Now we move to another key ingredient: sugar. Nutella mostly uses sugar beets from Europe. The beets are washed and cut,
and then transformed into fine sugar. And here too, there's strict quality control.
because sugar is not always of the same quality, especially when it's part of your favorite bread spread. Now we come to palm oil. And here, controversy often arises. But Ferrero has a clear answer to that. They only use certified sustainable palm oil.
This oil comes from specially controlled farms, and it is produced according to the highest environmental standards.
But why palm oil, specifically? Because it gives Nutella this perfect creamy texture. Now we come to milk. Ferrero uses high-quality milk powder. It is produced from fresh, pasteurized milk. This milk suppliers are carefully selected, because a happy cow simply produces better milk. All ingredients: hazelnut paste, cacao mass, sugar, palm oil, and milk powder meet. They meet in giant mixing machines, and that precise recipe is a closely guarded secret. Only Ferrero itself knows it. Now we move to another key ingredient: sugar. Nutella mostly uses sugar beets from Europe. The beets are washed and cut. They are sealed, labeled, and ready. Cacao from West Africa. Hazelnuts from Turkey. Sugar from Europe, all combine to make the perfect Nutella jar. And now, let's be honest, who among us hasn't eaten Nutella directly from the jar? Nutella is a global phenomenon, and behind every jar, there's more than you think.
It's time to tell you some amusing facts about the sweet spread that will surely surprise you. A quantity of the sweet spread is produced each year enough to cover the Earth's surface.
1.5 times. In the past, when Nutella was launched in 1946, it wasn't spreadable at all. It was sold as solid blocks that could be sliced, like cheese. The idea of turning it into a spreadable cream came later.
And it was a brilliant idea. Have you ever heard of the world's largest Nutella jar? In 2015, a jar was made in Germany,
weighing a full 5 tons. Yes, what you heard is correct. 5,000 kilograms of pure Nutella. The jar was so huge that a person could lie inside it. There is also an official World Nutella Day. On February 5th, fans all over the world celebrate their love for this spread.
Now we move to another key ingredient, sugar. Nutella mostly uses sugar beets from Europe. The beets are washed and cut.
And perhaps also many jars are eaten down to the last spoon. Here's a small fact about hazelnuts.
Ferrero uses about a quarter of the world's total hazelnut production. And Nutella has even reached space.
Astronauts took Nutella with them to the International Space Station. Even in space, they don't want to give up this sweet spread.
And of course, with a global product like this, the question always arises: how sustainable is it? In recent years, Ferrero has taken big steps to make production more eco-friendly. The palm oil used is 100% certified.
And by 2030, the company aims to be carbon neutral.
By investing in renewable energy, reducing emissions, and using sustainable packaging, it is clear that the company is not perfect.
But the steps it is taking show that it takes responsibility seriously. Whether it's sustainable palm oil,
or hazelnuts, or climate protection, there is already movement in the right direction. The palm oil used in Nutella is 100% RSPO certified, meaning it comes from sustainable sources where rainforests are not cut down. In addition, Ferrero contributes to protecting biodiversity and providing fair working conditions. But of course, palm oil remains a complex topic. Ferrero is aware of this and is working to become more transparent. Small steps, but at least in the right direction. And now we come to hazelnuts. Ferrero uses a huge amount of hazelnuts. So much so that it buys annually a quarter of the world's total production. But to what extent is this sustainable? Ferrero works closely with farmers in Turkey through special programs. The company supports these farmers with training, modern techniques, and fair prices. The goal is to use 100% certified and full.
Now we return to West Africa, to the cacao trees. Cacao cultivation is not easy,
especially in countries like Ghana and Ivory Coast, where Ferrero sources its cacao. But here, the company intervenes through its program,
Ferrero Farming Values. What exactly does that mean? Ferrero trains the farmers and works to improve working conditions and supports eco-friendly farming methods, such as agroforestry,
where cacao is grown side by side with other plants to maintain soil fertility. A global product like Nutella naturally has a carbon footprint, but Ferrero has set a goal to be climate neutral by 2030 by investing in renewable energy
and reducing emissions and using sustainable packaging. It is clear that Ferrero is not perfect.
but the steps it is taking show that it takes responsibility seriously. Whether it's sustainable palm oil,
or hazelnuts, or climate protection, there is already movement in the right direction. In the end, Ferrero's goal remains clear. Nutella must evolve without losing what makes it so unique. Now we come to milk. Ferrero uses high-quality milk powder. It is produced from fresh, pasteurized milk. And enjoy our personal vegan Nutella from a carbon-neutral jar.
What was the most exciting fact you found?
And do we say the Nutella in masculine, feminine, or neutral? Write it in the comments.
From the beginnings after World War II to the exciting production processes and a look towards the future, Nutella is more than just a spread on bread. It's history, innovation, and a little piece of happiness in every jar. But now, it's your turn.
What was the most exciting fact you found? And do we say the Nutella in masculine, feminine, or neutral? Write it in the comments.
We are excited to read your opinions. And don't forget, if you liked this video,
hit the like button. And do we say the Nutella in masculine, feminine, or neutral? Write it in the comments.
We'll see you next time. And until then, treat yourselves to a sweet snack. And remember,
In the end, Ferrero's goal remains clear. Nutella must evolve without losing what makes it so unique.